Hi friends, wanted to take a few minutes today to talk through the elements of argument and how we're going to support our argument in our argumentative writing. So the four terms that you're always going to hear about argument and the elements of argument are your claim, your reasoning, your warrant, and your evidence. At first, I know these terms can seem a little bit repetitive and confusing or seeming like they have different parts that overlap. So I wanted to walk through these four terms and kind of talk about how they are related and connected to one another. So first off, your claim. Your claim is your assertion that you are going to prove in your argument. You might say assertion, you might say position. So your reasoning is going to explain how your evidence supports your claim. So reasoning is connecting your evidence and your claim. Your warrant, actually, stick with the pink. Your warrant is why the evidence supports the claim. Could also be the connection between the two. And lastly, your evidence. Well, your evidence is your data, your examples, your narratives, your facts, the information that you're using, to support your claim, as we said here. Now it's data. Facts, narratives, testimony, data, examples. So this information supports your claim. Reasoning is how those are connected. Warrant is why those are connected, or the connection between them. What is the connection? I hope this very short, quick video helps explain these four terms and how they're connected and interrelated to one another. So here we go. Hi friends, now that we've covered claim, reasoning, warrant, and evidence, let's talk about the ways that we can support our argument. These supports, this can be that evidence piece that we're talking about down here, but how we're going to support this is all going to work. So analogy. So analogy is comparing similarities of things that are otherwise different. We might use a cause and effect kind of model. So this is the idea that actions have consequences, or an and action is going to have a result, or a lack of action is going to have a result. If you don't show up to class, if you don't turn anything in, you're probably not going to pass. Who knew? But that's a cause and effect relationship right there for you. We might have some work with classifications. Or classifying things. But this is where we break things into groupings based on similar characteristics. We may work on doing a bunch of defining or making definitions. So definitions are simply that idea of we are giving a very explicit explanation of what we mean, so that somebody doesn't read something else into our words or our actions. We're saying, in using this term or in using this example, this is what I'm using it for, not for these other extraneous details, but for this specific purpose or this specific cause. But in essence, defining it is just telling the reader or the person we're talking to, this is explicitly what I'm trying to say or what I mean. Might do some descriptors. So descriptions. Descriptors, descriptions, but these are those vivid details, those mental pictures we create with our words and our statements. If we're talking about things that left an impression, that description might be that thing that leaves that impression with us. Profiles, using those examples, even narratives would fall under that descriptors, the descriptors piece. And as we've talked about in other times in class, a narrative is simply a story that supports the position that you're taking in your argument. So a narrative could be your own narrative, a personal first-person story, or you could be retelling somebody else's experience as part of a narrative. It's their narrative that you're incorporating into your paper. We might find it's easy for us to do like a humorous use of information. So humor, show the irony in a situation, some humility, but ways you can use humor allows you another opportunity to connect with your audience. You can also use like a problem solution type of format. Problem solution is just defining what the problem is, showing what possible solutions are, and then presenting your best option. Got space for one more here. Give you a second to get all that down. Last one we're going to work on here is simply examples. And examples goes into that facts, examples, details. But examples are everything else you would use to support that argument. That, so you get all that written down. The idea that you're making abstract ideas complete. Just go like this. We can talk about a very abstract concept, but once we give an example to it, it becomes a lot more coherent and able to be understood. So that would be one way you could use an example to support your argument. So our supports to our arguments, now that we've defined the elements of our argument, our supports are going to be analogy, cause and effect, classification, definition, descriptions or descriptors, humor, problem solution formats, and examples. And all of those elements, you can choose some, you can choose, probably don't want to choose all because that would be a little tedious, but all of those different pieces can be ways you can support your argument in your argumentative writing. Hope this has been useful for you, and as always, if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks, take care, have a great day.